Ramon, listen to me carefully. That woman you have been visiting every night at the edge of the farm. Nobody in this village knows her name. Nobody has ever seen her in the daylight. Not once, not ever. And I need you to think about what that means before you go back there tonight.
I buried 3 men who fell in love with something from that grove. All 3 went in willingly. All 3 were smiling when they went. Their families never stopped looking for them.
Tito Ramon brings her coffee every night. She does not have to count anymore.
I have been trying to stay away from you. Every single night I tell myself, not tonight, not this man, not this family, but Ramon. You kept coming back. And I am not strong enough to keep saying no to someone who looks at me the way you do.
There is a question this story will ask you before it ends. Not about monsters, not about the dark, about love. Specifically, if the person you love is something the whole world says you should fear, does that change what you feel? I want you to hold that question, because by the end of this story, your answer may surprise you. It surprised Ramon. It surprised the whole village. And honestly, it surprised me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elena, and the story you are about to hear was told to me by a man named Totoy Reyes, the loudest, most dramatic, and most loyal person in the small farming village of Barangay Malawig in the province of Quezon. He told me this story over 3 hours, 2 plates of rice, and 1 very eventful bottle of lambanog. He cried twice. He laughed 3 times. He checked over his shoulder 4 times, even though we were inside. That is how I knew it was worth sharing. The story is about his best friend, a farmer named Ramon de la Cruz, 34 years old, never married. The kind of quiet that does not come from having nothing to say, but from choosing carefully when to say it. Ramon's farm sat at the very edge of Barangay Malawig, half a kilometer past the last house, down a path the other farmers had stopped using years ago because of the smell, sweet and old and slightly wrong, like something beautiful left out too long in the afternoon heat. Ramon had grown up with that smell. To him, it was simply home. He had no idea what was living at the edge of it. This is the true account of Ramon de la Cruz and the woman he found at the edge of his farm, and what love looks like when it refuses to be afraid. Before we continue, if you are new here, welcome to Aswang English Stories. This channel tells original English horror stories, inspired by one of the most feared creatures in the Philippines. A creature that looks human during the day, but becomes something else at night. Red eyes, fangs, claws sharp enough to tear through flesh. They call it the Aswang. But not every Aswang story is about fear. Some are about love. Some are about choices. Tonight's story is one of them. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Now, let us go to Barangay Malawig. Ramon first saw her on a Tuesday night in October. He had gone to check the irrigation line at the far end of the property, something he had done every night for 11 years without incident. But that night, when he reached the edge of the farm where the kogon grass met the dark grove, there was a woman standing at the tree line. She was not doing anything. Simply standing there, facing the field, as though she had been waiting for something to cross it. White dress, long dark hair, perfectly still in a wind that was moving everything else around her. Ramon stopped walking. She turned and looked at him, and Ramon, a man who had survived 3 typhoons, one very angry carabao, and his mother's cooking, felt absolutely nothing he could name, just stillness, and the strange feeling that he was exactly where he was supposed to be.
Good evening. Are you lost?
I am not lost. I know exactly where I am.
Are you hurt?
No, I am not hurt.
Then I will leave you alone. But this is private land. If you need somewhere to stand safely, you are welcome to stand here rather than at the tree line.
Why?
Because whatever lives in that grove comes out at night, and you are standing right at the edge of it.
He walked back to his house without looking back. He told Totoy the next morning while they repaired the fence on the north side of the property. Totoy's response was immediate and characteristically unhelpful.
Ramon, a woman, at the tree line, at night, in a white dress, and you talk to her like a normal person.
What else would I do?
Run, Ramon, normal people run. You go back to the house, you lock the door, you put salt on the windowsill, and in the morning you tell someone with a Bible. You do not ask her if she is lost. You do not invite her to stand on your property. You run.
She was not doing anything wrong.
She was standing at the dark grove at midnight, in a white dress, perfectly still, in the wind. That is the definition of doing something wrong, Ramon.
Ramon! Breakfast! Totoy! Is that you? Have you eaten already?
Yes, Tita Coring! This conversation is not over, Ramon!
Ramon went back to check the irrigation line that night. She was there again. He nodded at her, she nodded back. This continued for 2 weeks. On the 14th night, Ramon brought 2 cups of coffee.
You are here every night. You might as well be comfortable.
You are not afraid of me.
Should I be?
Most people would be.
Most people have not spent 34 years on a farm, at the edge of a dark grove. After a while, the dark stops being something to fear, and starts being just the dark.
What is your name?
Ramon. Yours?
Clara.
That was the beginning of it. Every night for the next month, Ramon brought 2 cups of coffee to the edge of the farm, and every night, Clara was waiting. They talked about the farm, about the weather, about the way light changes over Kogon grass before rain, small things, quiet things, the kinds of things people say when they are learning the shape of each other. Totoy found out on a Thursday.
You have been having coffee with her every night for 1 month, and you did not tell me.
You would have reacted exactly like this.
Yes, because this is the correct reaction, Ramon. This is what a concerned best friend looks like. Does she eat? Does she sleep? Have you ever seen her in the daytime? Does she have a family? Does anyone in this village know her name?
She does not come in the daytime.
Ramon.
She has not done anything to harm me, Totoy. She has not asked me for anything. She just talks to me. She listens. She remembers things I say. She is the most honest person I have ever met.
Or she is something that has learned exactly what you need to hear. Ramon, please, at least talk to Lola Essing before this goes any further. Please! I am asking, as your best friend, your oldest friend, the person who carried you home after that Carabao incident.
You carried me 3 meters and then dropped me.
That is not the point!
Ramon went to see Lola Essing that afternoon. She was 83 years old, lived alone at the end of the village. widely regarded as someone who had seen enough of the world to no longer be surprised by any of it. She was shelling peas when he arrived. She did not look up. Her granddaughter Ligaya was sitting on the front step.
You smell like the edge of the farm. She let you get close to her.
Who are you?
Ligaya, my grandmother is inside. She has been expecting you since yesterday. She said you would come when you stopped pretending you were not afraid.
I am not afraid.
I know. That is the part that worries Lola the most.
So, you finally came. Sit down.
The woman at the edge of my farm. Her name is Clara. She only appears after dark. She has never come in the daytime. I want to know what she is.
I buried 3 men who fell in love with something from that grove. All 3 went in willingly. All 3 were smiling when they went. Their families never stopped looking for them.
What is she?
Something very old. Something that was in that grove long before your grandfather built that farm. Something that feeds on the living. And something that, in all the years I have watched that grove, I have never once seen come out of it the way she has been coming out for you.
Has she ever hurt anyone in this village?
That is a more complicated question than it sounds.
Lola Essing put down her peas, and for the next hour she told Ramon everything she knew about the grove, about the 3 men, about what her own grandmother had told her, and her grandmother's grandmother before that, about a creature that had lived at the edge of the village for generations, taking when the hunger became unbearable, disappearing back into the dark when it was done, about 3 years ago, when for the first time in living memory, the taking stopped. Nobody in the village knew why. They were grateful, and they did not ask. Lola Essing had her suspicions. She had chosen not to share them. Until now.
3 years ago, something changed in that grove. The animals near the tree line stopped disappearing. The smell of it changed. Less sweet, more like old rain. And I started finding marks at my gate in the mornings, scratched into the post. 3 lines, like something was counting nights.
What does that mean?
It means something in that grove has been fighting itself for 3 years, and winning, barely. I'm going to tell you what I think is happening. And I need you to understand that I am not telling you this to give you permission. I am telling you because you deserve to know what you are walking into. Whatever she is trying to stop. She has been trying for 3 years with nobody helping her. And now she has found the one person in this village who looks at her and sees a person instead of a thing. That is either the most dangerous situation I have ever seen, or the most important one.
Ramon was quiet for a long time. Ligaya appeared in the doorway. She had been listening. She made no apology for it.
She cries at night. I can hear it from my window when the wind is right. She does not know anyone can hear her. She has been crying for a very long time.
How long?
Lola says since before my mother was born. That is a long time to cry and have nobody bring you coffee.
She disappeared back inside before Ramon could say anything. He sat at Lola Essing's table for another few minutes. Then he stood, thanked her, and walked home. That night, he brought 3 cups of coffee to the edge of the farm. Clara looked at the 3rd cup for a long time.
Who is the 3rd one for?
Nobody yet. I just thought, Maybe someday you would want to bring someone.
I have not had a someone in a very long time.
Chito found out on a Sunday. He arrived at Ramon's house with a pot of adobo, a bag of rice, and the particular expression of someone who has just heard something tremendous and has been holding it in for the entire walkover.
An Aswang! Ramon is in love with an Aswang! I cannot believe! I simply cannot, after everything I have done for this man! I introduced him to Maribel. I introduced him to Grace. I introduced him to Grace's cousin, who was very sweet and had excellent teeth. And he finds this on his own in a dark grove at midnight. Only Ramon.
Are you not even a little frightened?
Of course I am frightened. I am absolutely terrified. But Totoy, have you seen how happy he is? When was the last time Ramon smiled before 7 in the morning? When has he ever hummed while fixing a fence? The man is glowing! What am I supposed to do with that?
He does hum now. I noticed.
We support him, carefully, from a safe distance, with practical precautions. But we support him. Totoy, do you have garlic?
I have had it since Thursday.
Good. Keep it. Now where is Ramon, because this adobo is getting cold, and I want to ask him very specific questions about how this happened.
Nene Coring, Ramon's mother, found out the following week. She took it differently from the others. She did not panic. She did not immediately ask about garlic. She sat very still for a very long time, and then she said, the thing nobody expected.
Your father, when I first met him. Everyone in the village said he was wrong for me. Too quiet, they said. Too strange. He walks at the edge of the farm at night, they said. Something is wrong with him. I did not listen to them. I am glad I did not listen to them.
Nanai, this is not the same.
I know it is not the same. I am not saying it is the same. I am saying that people will talk. They will be frightened. They will say things that are unkind. And I am asking you, are you sure? Not about her, about yourself. Are you sure you are ready for what this will cost you?
Yes.
Then bring her something warm to eat. She has been at the edge of that farm for 3 years. She is probably cold.
Totoy, listening from the next room, would later say that was the moment he stopped being afraid. Not of Clara, of being wrong about her. Mang Rufo was the oldest man in Barangay Malawig and considered himself the keeper of its good sense. He had lived next to the dark grove his entire life. He had lost a cousin to it 30 years ago. He noticed things, and what he noticed in November was that Ramon dela Cruz had started walking to the edge of his farm every night, carrying 2 cups of something hot. He noticed the direction Ramon always faced, and he called a meeting.
I am not here to make accusations. I am here because I have eyes. And what my eyes have seen in the past month is Ramon dela Cruz leaving offerings at the tree line every single night. And what my memory tells me is that the last 3 men who started doing that ended up walking into that grove and not walking back out. I am asking Ramon directly, and I hope he will answer directly. What is happening at the edge of your farm?
The room went quiet. Everyone looked at Ramon. Ramon had known this conversation was coming. He had been preparing for it. He stood up.
There is a woman who lives near the grove. Her name is Clara. She has been there for a long time, longer than most of us have been alive. She has not harmed anyone in this village in 3 years. She does not take from the farm. She does not come near the houses. She stays at the edge where the kogon grass meets the trees, and she has done nothing since I have known her, except talk to me.
And you believe she is safe?
I believe she is trying to be, and I believe that is not nothing.
Ramon, I have lived next to that grove for 70 years. My cousin Nestor walked into it in 1983. He was 26 years old. He was supposed to get married in December. I am not asking you to be afraid. I am asking you to be careful. There is a difference.
Rufo, I have something to tell this village. Something I should have said 3 years ago. I think everyone should sit down.
Lola Essing told the village everything she knew about the 3 years of silence from the grove, about the marks on her gate post, about what she believed had changed and why. The room was very quiet when she finished. Mang Rufo did not speak for a long time. Then he said,
I owe Nestor's memory more thought than I have given it. I am not saying I am not still afraid. I am saying I will think about what you have said before I say anything more.
A new family moved to the edge of the village in January. 3 children, a tired mother, a father who worked in the city and came home on weekends. The children were loud and bright, and completely unaware that they had moved 100 meters from something ancient and hungry. Clara smelled them the first night. Ramon found her at the tree line, both hands pressed flat against the nearest tree, shaking.
Clara, look at me.
Ramon, go back to the house. Go now. I cannot. I am trying. Please go.
I am not going. Look at my face. You have been doing this alone for 3 years. You do not have to do it alone tonight.
And then, footsteps on dry grass. Small ones. Ligaya appeared at Ramon's shoulder, barefoot, completely calm, carrying a small cloth bundle.
Ligaya, go back to the house right now.
She will not hurt me. She never hurts children. That is why she stays at the edge and does not come closer. She is afraid of herself, not of us. Clara, Lola sent this. She made it a long time ago. She said she should have given it to you sooner. She is sorry about that.
How does your grandmother know about...
Lola knows everything. She just takes a long time to say it.
Clara sat down on the ground right there. She held the cloth bundle in both hands and she cried, the specific, exhausted crying of something that has been holding itself together for a very long time. Ramon sat down next to her. Ligaya sat on the other side. None of them said anything for a while. Then Ramon stood up and walked back to the house. He came back with 3 cups of coffee. Ligaya accepted hers with both hands and a very serious expression. Clara laughed. It was the first time Ramon had heard her laugh. He decided then that he would do whatever it took to hear it again. Ramon went to Lola Essing the next morning. He did not go to ask how to end it. He went to ask how to help her. Lola Essing was waiting for him at the gate. She handed him a folded piece of paper before he could even speak.
My grandmother wrote this down. Everything the thing in the grove told her. What it was. What kept the hunger manageable. What it had been asking for in the only way it knew how. It has been in my family for 80 years. I should have given it to someone who would actually use it a long time ago.
It came to your grandmother.
It tried to ask for help. My grandmother was afraid. She drove it back into the grove. It never tried to ask anyone again, until you stopped at the tree line and asked if it was lost. I have been wrong, Ramon. For 80 years I have been wrong. I told this village that thing was only a danger. I never told them it had tried to be something else. I am telling you now, use that paper, help her. Because if she can do what I think she can do, what it told my grandmother it wanted to do, then this village will be safer for it, and she will finally have what she has been asking for since before I was born.
It says all it ever wanted was someone to stay.
Yes, most things do.
Ligaya appeared in the doorway. She looked at Ramon for a long moment. Then she said the thing that Totoi would later call the most important sentence of the entire story.
Tito Ramon, she has been counting the nights since you first brought her coffee. She is at 47. She told me she has never counted anything good before.
Ramon walked home with Lola Essing's paper. He read it 3 times. That night, he went to the edge of the farm with 2 cups of coffee and everything Lola Essing's grandmother had written down. He sat next to Clara and he read it to her. She did not say anything for a very long time. Then he said,
She actually wrote it down.
She did.
I thought no one believed me. I thought I was just something to be afraid of. Something to drive back into the dark. I did not know she wrote it down.
She did. And I am going to help you. Every night. For as long as it takes. You are not doing this alone anymore.
The months that followed were the strangest and most ordinary months Barangay Malawig had ever seen. Clara never came into the village. Ramon never asked her to. He brought food to the edge of the farm. They ate together in the dark. Lola Essing began leaving small bundles of herbs at Ramon's gate every morning. She never explained them. Ramon never asked. Cheeto brought adobo every other Thursday. He always made extra. Totoi kept garlic in his pocket every single day. He never discussed it. And slowly, very slowly, something changed in the grove. The smell of it shifted. Less sweet, less wrong, more like old wood and rain and something green growing.
I brought dinner. For how many? Ramon, it is just you two, right? Totoi, are you here? Totoi?
I was checking the perimeter.
You were hiding.
I was being cautious. There is a difference.
She can hear you, Totoi. She has been able to hear you since the first night you hid behind the fence.
Good evening, Totoi.
Good evening. You have a nice voice.
There it is! Totoi is warming up! Clara, I made adobo. I do not know your dietary requirements exactly, but I made it with extra garlic because... Stop kicking me!
Clara ate the adobo. She said it was the best thing she had tasted in 100 years. Cheeto said the onions were very strong this season. Totoi ate 3 servings. He did not put the garlic away. Mang Rufo went to Ramon's farm on a Tuesday morning in March. He had been thinking for 2 months. He found Ramon at the fence line, sitting with 2 empty cups and a content expression. He sat down next to him without being invited. They watched the mist move over the Kogon grass for a while.
My cousin Nestor. I have been thinking about him. I always thought the thing in the grove took him, that he had no choice. But Lola Essing said he went willingly, that they all did. If he went willingly, then maybe he found something there that he could not find here. I do not know what to do with that.
I think you do not have to do anything with it, except let it be true.
I want to meet her, not to judge, not to decide anything. I want to look at the thing that my cousin chose and understand why he chose it. Is that something she would allow?
I will ask her.
It was Totoy who first noticed something was wrong. Not with Clara, with Ramon. He was tired, thinner than usual, quiet in a different way than his normal quiet. Not peaceful, but careful, like someone carrying something heavy and trying not to show it. Totoy cornered him after the harvest.
Ramon, what is happening? And I want you to tell me the truth, because I have known you for 30 years, and I can see when you are not sleeping.
The hunger has been worse lately. Something changed with the season. I sit with her every night, and it takes more from her to hold it. Some nights she shakes for an hour before it passes. Some nights it does not pass until almost morning.
And you stay with her through it.
Of course.
Ramon, does she know what it costs you? To watch that every night?
No, I have not told her, because she already carries enough.
You love her.
I have never been more certain of anything in my life.
That night, the storm came in hard and fast. Ramon went to the edge of the farm as usual. Clara was not at the tree line. He waited. After 20 minutes, he walked to the edge of the grove. He heard her voice, low, 2 tones, the version of her he had only heard once before, coming from inside the trees. He walked in anyway.
Clara, I am here. Tell me where you are.
The voice that answered was not entirely Clara's. It was 2 voices at once, the one he knew, and something underneath it, older and colder and very hungry. But it was still hers trying.
Ramon, do not come closer. I cannot. Tonight, I cannot promise.
You have kept that promise every single night for 8 months. I trust you.
You should not be here. You should not.
Clara, look at me. Not at the dark, not at the rain. Look at my face.
I could have hurt you.
But you did not.
I do not want to be this. I have never wanted to be this. I have wanted for 100 years to just be a person who can sit with someone and not be afraid of what I am and not have to count the nights and not have to fight myself every single moment just to... I am so tired, Ramon.
I know. Sit down. You are not fighting it alone tonight.
In the morning, Lola Essing came to the edge of the farm. She brought tea and the rest of her grandmother's notes, and something she had been sitting with for 80 years, and was finally ready to say out loud. She sat at the low fence and called toward the grove, and for the first time in 80 years, something called back.
I owe you a very long apology. My grandmother owed you one. You came to her asking for help, and she drove you away because she was afraid. And I kept her fear alive for 80 years, because it was easier than asking better questions. I am asking them now. What do you need?
I have everything I need. I just needed someone to stay long enough to give it to me.
Yes, I know. I am sorry it took us this long.
Ligaya sat down next to her grandmother. She watched the tree line for a moment. Then she looked at Lola Essing.
Lola, did you know it would be Tito Ramon?
No, but when I met his father, I knew the family had the right kind of quiet. The kind that listens instead of just waiting to speak. I hoped. I did not know.
I knew. The first time I saw him, I could smell the farm on him, and she had let him close enough to carry it. Nothing lets something that close unless it has already decided to trust it.
How do you know these things?
I listen. You taught me that.
I spoke to Ligaya before I left Barangay Malawig. She was 9 years old by then. Same large dark eyes. Same unsettling stillness. I asked her what she remembered most about everything that had happened. She thought about it for a long time. Then she said,
Everyone was so busy being afraid of what Clara was. Nobody asked how long she had been alone. I asked her once. She said she stopped counting after the first 100 years because counting made it worse. I think that is the saddest thing I have ever heard. Tito Ramon brings her coffee every night. She does not have to count anymore.
Totoy Reyes told me this story on a quiet afternoon in Barangay Malawig. I asked him, at the end of it, whether he thought Ramon had made the right choice. He was quiet for a while. Then he said, Ramon is the happiest person I have ever known. And Clara, whatever she is trying harder than most people I have met who had every advantage she never had. So no, I do not wish it had gone differently. I just wish I had stopped buying so much garlic. It has gotten very expensive. He checked his pocket while he said it. The garlic was still there. Clara never came into the village. Ramon never asked her to. Lola Essing visits on Sunday afternoons. They drink tea at the low fence and watch the light change over the Kogon grass. Mang Rufo stops by the fence line on the anniversary of his cousin's disappearance every year. He and Clara talk for about an hour. He never tells anyone what they say. Cheeto brings adobo every other Thursday. He has expanded the recipe 4 times because she keeps saying it is the best thing she has tasted. Totoy is there every Saturday morning, keeping watch from what he calls a strategic position behind the carabao shed. He will not be talked out of it. And Ligaya visits after school on Fridays and sits at the edge of the farm and tells Clara everything that happened that week. Clara always listens. She has not missed a single Friday. She does not count the nights anymore. She counts the Fridays instead. It is, she told Ramon, a much better number to keep. The most dangerous thing in any story is not always the creature with the ancient hunger. Sometimes it is the ordinary man who decides to bring a second cup of coffee to the edge of the dark and sit down. And the most extraordinary thing is not the monster defeated or the village saved. Sometimes it is a woman, whatever she is, standing at the edge of 100 years of alone and choosing one night at a time to hold still. My name is Elena. This has been the story of Ramon de la Cruz and Clara and the farm at the edge of Barangay Malawig. Subscribe to Aswang English Stories. Share this with someone you trust. And tonight, when you close your eyes, remember that the dark outside your window has been there a very long time. Most of it is just the dark. Good night, sleep well.